Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Let's go ahead and bow our heads and pray. Yahweh, thank you for gathering us, and thank you for using me to speak your truth. I pray you open my viewers' spiritual eyes and ears. I pray that they find the Messiah and he leads them back to your truth. Humble their hearts, Yahweh, and put a new ruach within them. Give them the discernment they need to understand your word, and give them strength to endure, Abba. We praise your name, Yahweh Sebaoth, and for your name's sake your truth is proclaimed. Hallelujah. And in Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right, Shabbat Shalom, brothers and sisters. Welcome to Torah Truth Fellowship of Yahushua. I am your host, Brianna, and this is the Torah portion. So the last Torah portion we covered Genesis chapters 39 through 41, while we paralleled that with the book of Jasher chapters 44 through 46. And I want to say that we actually read to chapters 48 or maybe 49. I can't remember. But we ended up reading more than that in Jasher. And this week we are going to be covering Genesis chapters 42 through 44, and we are going to parallel again with Jasher chapters 50 through 52. And also, if you're tuning in, don't forget to go check out my Facebook group. It is under the name of my ministry. I try my very best to post daily, but I mostly created it for you guys to have another way to connect with one another. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into this. If you have your Bible ready, go ahead and open it up. We are going to begin in Genesis chapter 42. Let's go ahead and read. So you have just a moment because I got to open up my Bible too. All right. Genesis chapter 42. Now, when Yaakov saw that there was grain in Mitzrayim, Yaakov said unto his sons, Why do ye look one upon another? And he said, Behold, I have heard that there is grain in Mitzrayim. Get you down thither, and buy for us from thence, that we may live and not die. And Joseph's 10 brethren went down to buy grain in Mitzrayim. But Benjamin, Joseph's brother, Yaakov sent not with his brethren, for he said, Lest perchance mischief befall him. And the sons of Yasharel came to buy grain among those that came. For the famine was in the land of Canaan, and Joseph was the governor over the land, and he it was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him with their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spoke roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come ye? And they said, From the land of Canaan, to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, Ye are spies, to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said unto him, Nay, my Adonai, but to buy food are your servants come. We are all one man's sons, we are true men, your servants are no spies. And he said unto them, Nay, but to see the nakedness of the land ye are come. And they said, Your servants are 12 brethren, and the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And behold, the youngest is this day with our father, and one is not. And Joseph said unto them, That is it, that I spoke unto you, saying, Ye are spies. Hereby ye shall be proved. By the life of Pharaoh ye shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come hither. Send one of you, and let him fetch your brother, and ye shall be kept in prison, that your words may be proved, whether there be any truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, O surely ye are spies. And he put them all together in the ward 3 days. And Joseph said unto them the 3rd day, This do and live, for I fear Elohim. If ye be true men, let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go ye, carry grain for the famine of your houses, but bring your youngest brother unto me. So shall your words be verified, and ye shall not die. And they did so. And they said to one another, We are truly guilty concerning our brother, and that we saw the anguish of his soul, when he besought us, and we would not hear. Therefore it is this distress Therefore is this distress come upon us. And Reuben answered them, saying, Spoke I not unto you, saying, Do not sin against the child? And ye would not hear. Therefore, behold, also his blood is required. And they knew not that Joseph understood them, for he spoke unto them by an interpreter. And he turned himself about from them, and wept, and returned to them again, and communed with them, and took from them Shimon, and bound him before their eyes. Then Joseph commanded to fill their sacks with grain, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the way. And thus did he unto them. And they laded their asses with the grain, and departed thence. And as one of them opened his sack to give his ass provender, in the inn he espied his money, for behold, it was in his sack's mouth. And he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And their heart failed them, and they were afraid, saying one to another, What is this that Elohim has done unto us? And they came unto Yaakov their father, and unto the land of Canaan, and told him all that befell unto them, saying, The man who is the Adonai of the land spoke roughly unto us, and took us for spies of the country. And we said unto him, We are true men, we are no spies. We be 12 brethren, sons of our father. One is not, and the youngest is this day with our father in the land of Canaan. And the man, the Adonai of the country, said unto us, Hereby shall I know that ye are true men. Leave one of your brethren here with me, and take food for the famine of your households, and be gone, and bring your youngest brother unto me. Then shall I know that ye are no spies, but that ye are true men. So will I deliver you your brother, and ye shall traffic in the land. And it came to pass, as they emptied their sacks, that behold, every man's bundle of money was in his sack. And when both they and their father saw the bundles of money, they were afraid. And Yaakov their father said unto them, Me have ye bereaved of my children. Joseph is not, and Shimon is not, and ye will take Benjamin away from me. All these things are against me. And Reuben spoke unto his father, saying, Slay my 2 sons, if I bring him not unto you. Deliver him into my hand, and I will bring him to you again. And he said, My son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befall him by the way in which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to Sheol. Alright, let's go ahead and stop really quick and go over that, and then we are going to parallel it with Jasher. So, we read here that the famine has came over all of the nations, and it wasn't just Egypt, it was all of the nations, and Jacob learns that there was grain in Egypt, so he sends his 10 sons down to Egypt to go and buy grain. But his youngest son, Benjamin, he stays. And he is the only other son that Jacob had from Rachel. Joseph being the older son, who he thinks is dead. Anyways, so Joseph's brothers go down to Egypt to buy grain, and Joseph recognizes them. And Joseph asked them, Where did you come from? And they said, Canaan, my lord. And he said, Are you guys spies? Did you come to spy out the nakedness of the land? And they said, No, Adonai, we came to buy food from your storehouse. And they said, We are all one man's sons. We are not spies. And Joseph says, No, I think you guys are spies that came to see the nakedness, the barrenness, if you will, of the land. And they said, Your servants are 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. But our youngest brother is not with us today, and the other is dead. So Joseph says, Okay, well, if you're not spies, then prove it. He was like, what did he say? Because I took that part out because I thought I read it wrong. Hold on. He said, Send one of you to fetch your brother, and then you guys be kept in prison. But instead, he put all of them together. They all were in prison for 3 days. And then after the 3 days, Joseph comes on to them, and he says, Lucy! My kitty, again. Just stealing the show. Say hi, Lucy. Okay, where were we? So, okay, yeah. So he takes them out after the 3 days, and he was like, all right, prove it. Go back and get your brother and bring him here. And he was like, or by the life of Pharaoh, you won't go free. And Joseph says, you guys go and fetch your younger brother and bring him here. And one of you is going to wait in a prison cell here with me to see if your words prove to be true. And Joseph said, if you are true men, then you may carry grain for the famine of your houses. And so the brothers talk amongst themselves about what they did to Joseph. And Reuben says, I told you guys to not sin against the child. I told you not to do that. And what did you do? He says, surely the blood is required at your hand. And they had no idea that Joseph understood everything that they were saying, because Joseph spoke with them by an interpreter. So Joseph, he turned his back and he wept for a moment. And then he went and he took Shimon and he bound him in a prison cell before his brother's eyes. And then Joseph commanded that their sacks be filled with grain and that their money is restored to them. And they saddled their asses and they headed back to Canaan to go get Benjamin. And one of them opened their sack and saw that his money had been restored. And he's like, hey, guys, my money is in my sack. Why? And now they were getting scared and they were like, what has Elohim done to us? And they came to their father, Jacob, and they said, the Adonai of the land, he spoke roughly to us, and he took us for spies. And we said that we're not spies. We're 12 brethren of one man in the land of Canaan. And the Adonai of the land said to us, hereby I should know that you are true men, that if you leave one of your brethren here, and take the food for the family of your household, and be gone, and bring your youngest brother to me when you come back. And then I shall know that you are not spies, and I will deliver your brother to you. And they emptied their sacks, and everyone's money was in their sacks. And that's when Jacob saw, and he was very afraid after that. And Jacob said to them, you have bereaved me of my children. Joseph is dead, Shimon is in prison, and now you want to take Benjamin away. And Reuben spoke to his father, and he said, if I don't return Benjamin to you, you can slay my 2 sons. And Jacob said, my son will not go down for you. His brother is dead, and he is left all alone. If something happens and mischief befalls you on the way, then you will bring my gray hairs down to Sheol. All right, now we are going to parallel this with Jasher chapter 50, which is kind of long. Oh, no, it's not that long. Okay, Jasher chapter 50. Is this correct? Give me just a moment, guys. Hold on, let me make sure this is... Okay, no. 51. No, we are starting in 51. Okay, no, 51 through 53. I got this wrong. Okay, so Jasher chapter 51 is where we're starting. And Yaakov afterward answered, and heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim. And he called unto his sons to go to Mitzrayim and buy grain, for upon them also did the famine prevail. And he called unto his sons, and saying, behold, I hear that there is grain in Mitzrayim, and all the people of the earth go there to purchase. Now therefore, why will you show yourselves satisfied before the whole earth? Go you down to Mitzrayim, and buy us a little grain amongst those that come there, that we may not die. And the sons of Yaakov hearkened to the voice of their father, and they rose up to go down to Mitzrayim in order to buy grain amongst the rest of them that came there. And Yaakov their father commanded them, saying, when you come into the city, do not enter together in one gate, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And the sons of Yaakov went forth, and they went to Mitzrayim, and the sons of Yaakov did all as their father had commanded them. And Yaakov did not send Benjamin, for he said, lest an accident might befall him on the road like his brother. And 10 of Yaakov's sons went forth. And while the sons of Yaakov were going on the road, they repented of what they had done to Yosef. And they spoke to each other, saying, We know that our brother Yosef went down to Mizraim, and now we will seek him where we go. And if we find him, we will take him from his Adonai for a ransom, and if not by force, we will die for him. And the sons of Yaakov agreed to this thing, and strengthened themselves on account of Yosef, to deliver him from the hand of his Adonai. And the sons of Yaakov went to Mizraim. And when they came near to Mizraim, they separated from each other. And they came through the 10 gates of Mizraim. And the gatekeepers wrote their names on that day, and brought them to Yosef in the evening. And Yosef read the names from the hand of the gatekeepers of the city, and he found that his brethren had entered at the 10 gates of the city. And Yosef at that time commanded that it should be proclaimed throughout the land of Mizraim, saying, Go forth, all ye store guards, close all the grain stores, and let only one remain open, that those who come may purchase from it. And all the officers of Yosef did so at that time. And they closed all the stores, and they left only one open. And Yosef gave the written names of his brethren to him that was set over the open store. And he said unto him, Whosoever shall come to you to buy grain, ask his name, and when the men of these names shall come before you, seize them and send them. And they did so. And when the sons of Yaakov came into the city, they joined together in the city to seek Yosef before they bought themselves grain. And they went to the walls of the harlots, and they sought Yosef in the walls of the harlots for 3 days, for they thought that Yosef would come in the walls of the harlots, for Yosef was very comely and well favored. And the sons of Yaakov sought Yosef for 3 days, and they could not find him. And the man who was set over the open store sought for those names which Yosef had given him, and he did not find them. And he sent to Yosef, saying, These 3 days have passed, and those men whose names you did give unto me have not come. And Yosef sent servants to seek the men in all Mitzrayim, to bring them before Yosef. And Yosef's servants went and came into Mitzrayim, and could not find them, and went to Goshen, and they were not there. And they went to the city of Ramesses, and could not find them. And Yosef continued to send 16 servants to seek his brothers. And they went and spread themselves in the 4 corners of the city, and the 4 of the servants went into the house of the harlots, and they found the 10 men there seeking their brother. And those 4 men took them and brought them before him, and they bowed down to him to the ground. And Yosef was sitting upon his throne in his temple, clothed with princely garments, and upon his head was a large crown of gold, and all the mighty men were sitting around him. And the sons of Yaakov saw Yosef, and his figure and comeliness and the dignity of his countenance seemed wonderful in their eyes, and they again bowed down to him to the ground. And Yosef saw his brethren, and he knew them, but they knew him not, for Yosef was very great in their eyes, therefore they knew him not. And Yosef spoke to them, saying, From whence come ye? And they all answered and said, Your servants have come from the land of Canaan to buy grain, for the famine prevails throughout the earth, and your servants heard that there was grain in Mitzrayim. So they have come amongst the other comers to buy grain for their support. And Yosef answered them, saying, If you have come to purchase as you say, why do you come through the 10 gates of the city? It can only be that you have come to spy through the land. And they all together answered Yosef, and said, Not so, my Adonai, we are right. Your servants are not spies, but we have come to buy grain, for your servants are all brothers, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. And our father commanded us, saying, When you come to the city, do not enter together at one gate, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And Yosef answered them and said, That is the thing which I spoke unto you. You have come to spy through the land. Therefore you all came through the 10 gates of the city, and you have come to see the nakedness of the land. Surely everyone that comes to buy grain goes his way, and you are already 3 days in the land. And what do you do in the walls of the harlots in which you have been for these 3 days? Surely spies do like unto these things. And they said unto Yosef, Far be it from our Adonai speaks thus. Far be it from our Adonai to speak thus, for we are 12 brothers, the sons of our father Yaakov, in the land of Canaan, the sons of Yitzchak, and the sons of Abraham the Ivri. And behold, the youngest is with our father this day in the land of Canaan, and one is not, for he was lost from us. And we thought perhaps he might be in this land. So we are seeking him throughout the land, and have come even to the house of the harlots to seek him there. And Yosef said unto them, And have you then sought him throughout the earth, that there only remained Mitzrayim for you to seek him in? And what also should your brother do in the houses of the harlots, although he was in Mitzrayim? And have you not said that you are from the sons of Yitzchak, the son of Abraham? And what shall the sons of Yaakov do then in the houses of the harlots? And they said unto him, Because we heard the Yishmaelim stole him from us. And it was told unto us that they sold him in Mitzrayim. And your servant, our brother, is very comely and well favored. So we thought that we would surely be in the houses of the harlots. Therefore your servants went there to seek him, and give ransom for him. And Joseph still answered them, saying, Surely you speak falsely and utter lies, to say of yourselves that you are the sons of Abraham. As Pharaoh lives, you are spies. Therefore you have come to the houses of the harlots, that you should not be known. And Joseph said unto them, And now, if you find him, and his Adonai requires of you a great price, will you give it for him? And they said, It shall be given. And he said unto them, And if his Adonai will not consent to part with him for a great price, what will you do unto him on his account? And they answered him, saying, If he will not give him unto us, we will slay him, and take our brother, and go away. And Joseph said unto them, That is the thing which I have spoken to you. You are spies, for you have come to slay the inhabitants of the land, for we have heard that two of your brethren smote all the inhabitants of Shechem and the land of Canaan on account of your sister. And you now come to do the like in Mitzrayim on account of your brother. Only hereby shall I know that you are true men, if you will send home one from amongst you to fetch your youngest brother from your father, and to bring him here unto me. And by doing this thing I will know that you are right. And Joseph called to 70 of his mighty men, and he said unto them, Take these men, and bring them into the ward. And the mighty men took the 10 men that laid hold of them, and put them into the ward, and they were in the ward 3 days. And on the 3rd day Joseph had them brought out of the ward, and he said unto them, Do this for yourselves, if you be true men, so that you may live. One of your brethren shall be confined in the ward, while you go and take home the grain for your household to the land of Canaan, and fetch your youngest brother, and bring him here unto me, that I may know that you are true men when you do this thing. And Joseph went out from them, and came into the chamber, and wept a great weeping, for his pity was excited for them. And he washed his face, and returned to them again. And he took Shimon from them, and ordered him to be bound. But Shimon was not willing to be done so, for he was a very powerful man, and they could not bind him. And Joseph called unto his mighty men, and 70 valiant men came before him, with drawn swords in their hands. And the sons of Jacob were terrified at them. And Joseph said unto them, Seize this man, and confine him in prison, until his brethren come to him. And Joseph's valiant men hastened, and they all laid hold of Shimon to bind him. And Shimon gave a loud and terrible shriek, and the cry was heard at a distance. And all the valiant men of Joseph were terrified at the sound of the shriek, and they fell upon their faces, and they were greatly afraid, and fled. And all the men that were with Joseph fled, and they were greatly afraid of their lives. And only Joseph and Menashe his son remained there. And Menashe the son of Joseph saw the strength of Shimon, and he was exceedingly wroth. And Menashe the son of Joseph rose up to Shimon, and Menashe smote Shimon on a heavy blow with his fist against the back of his neck. And Shimon was stilled of his rage. And Menashe laid hold of Shimon, and he seized him violently, and bound him, and brought him into the house of confinement. And all the sons of Jacob were astonished at the act of the youth. And Shimon said unto his brethren, None of you must say that this thing is the smiting of a Mitzri, but is the smiting of the house of my father. And after this, Joseph ordered him to be called, of who was set over the storehouses, to fill their sacks with grain, with as much as they could carry, and to restore every man's money into his sack, and to give them provision for the road. And thus did he unto them. And Joseph commanded them, saying, Take heed, lest you transgress my orders, to bring your brother as I have told you. And it shall be, when you bring your brother hither unto me, then I will know that you are true men, and you shall traffic in the land. And I will restore unto you your brother, and you shall return in peace to your father. And they all answered and said, According as our Adonai speaks, so we will do. And they bowed down to him to the ground. And every man lifted his grain upon his ass, and they went out to go to the land of Canaan to their father. And they came to the inn, and Levi spread his sack to give provender to his ass, when he saw, and behold, his money in full weight was still in his sack. And the man was greatly afraid, and he said unto his brethren, My money is restored, and lo, it is even in my sack. And the men were greatly afraid, and they said, What is this that Elohim has done unto us? And they all said, And where is Yahweh's kindness with our fathers, with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Jacob, that Yahweh has this day delivered us into the hands of the king of Mitzrayim to contrive against us. And Yehuda said unto them, Surely we are guilty sinners before Yahweh Eloheinu, in having sold our brother, our own flesh. And wherefore do you say, Where is Yahweh's kindness with our fathers? And Reuben said unto them, Said I not unto you, Do not sin against the lad? And you would not listen to me. Now Elohim requires him from us. And how dare you say, Where is Yahweh's kindness with our fathers, when you have sinned unto Yahweh? And they tarried overnight in that place, and they rose up early in the morning, and they ladded their asses with grain, and they led them, and went on and came to their father's house in the land of Canaan. And Yaakov and his household went out to meet his sons. And Yaakov saw, and behold, their brother Shimon was not with them. And Yaakov said unto his son, Where is your brother Shimon, whom I do not see? And his sons told him all that had befallen them in Mitzrayim. So, as you can see, there is a lot of similarities here in the story, and the story actually goes a little bit deeper and gives us a little bit more detail on what happened, like how Joseph's brothers were there for 3 days because they were trying to find him, or how they talk about where is Yahweh's kindness while they tarried at the inn, or how it was Levi who opened his sack and realized that it was him who had the money. So, all right, let's get back to Genesis. Hold on. Here we go. All right. Genesis chapter 43. Let's read. And the famine was sore in the land. And it came to pass, when they had eaten up the grain, and they had brought out of Mitzrayim, their father said unto them, Go again, and buy us a little food. And Yehuda spoke unto him, saying, The man did solemnly protest unto us, saying, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And if you will send your brother with us, if you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy food. But if you will not send him, we will not go down. For the man said unto us, Ye shall not see my face, except your brother be with you. And Jasher said, Wherefore dealt ye so ill with me, as to tell the man ye had yet a brother? And they said, The man asked us straitly of our state and of our kindred, saying, Is your father yet alive? Have ye another brother? And we told him according to the tenor of these words. Could we certainly know that he would say, Bring your brother down? And Yehuda said unto Eliasharel his father, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, that we may live and not die, both we and you, and also our little ones. I will be surety for him. Of my hand shall you require him. If I bring him not unto you, and set him before you, then let me bear the blame forever. For except we had lingered, surely now we had returned the second time. And their father Yasharel said unto them, If it must be so, now do this. Take of the best fruits in the land in your vessels, and carry down the man a present, a little balm and a little honey, spices and myrrh, nuts and almonds. And take double money in your hand, and the money that was brought again in the mouth of your sacks. Carry it again in your hand. Perchance it was an oversight. Take also your brother, and arise, and go again unto the man. And El Shaddai shall give you mercy before the man, that he may send away your other brother, and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. And the men took the present, and they took the double money in their hand, and Benjamin, and rose up, and they went down to Mitzrayim, and stood before Joseph. And when Joseph saw Benjamin with them, he said to the ruler of his house, Bring these men home, and slay, and make ready, for these men shall dine with me at noon. And the man did as Joseph bade. And the man brought the men into Joseph's house. And the men were afraid, because they were brought into Joseph's house. And they said, Because of the money was returned in our sack at the first time, are we brought in, that he may seek occasion against us, and fall upon us, and take us for bondmen, and our asses. And they came near to the steward of Joseph's house, and they communed with him at the door of the house, and said, O sir, we came indeed at the first time to buy food. And it came to pass, when we came to the inn, that we opened our sacks, and behold, every man's money was in the mouth of his sack, and our money in full weight. And we have brought it again in our hand. And the other money we have brought down in our hands to buy food. We cannot tell who put the money in our sacks. And he said, Peace be to you, fear not. Your Elohim and the Elohim of your father has given you treasure in your sacks. I had your money. And he brought Shimon out unto them. And the man brought them into Joseph's house, and gave them water, and they washed their feet. And he gave their asses provender, and that they and they made ready the present against Joseph. Oh, and they came made ready the present against Joseph, came at noon, for they heard that they should eat bread there. And when Joseph came home, they brought him the present which was in their hand unto the house, and bowed themselves down to him to the earth. And he asked them of their welfare, and he said, Is your father well? The old man of whom ye spoke, is he yet alive? And they answered, Your servant our father is in good health, he is yet alive. And they bowed down their heads and made obeisance. And he lifted up his eyes and saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son, and said, Is this your younger brother of whom ye spoke unto me? And he said, Elohim be gracious unto you, my son. And Joseph made haste, for his heart did yearn upon his brother. And he sought where to weep, and he entered into his chamber and wept there. And he washed his face, and he went out and refrained himself, and said, Set on bread. And they set on for him by himself, and for them by themselves. For the Mitzrayim which did eat with him by themselves, because the Mitzrayim might not eat bread with the Ephraim, because that is an abomination unto the Mitzrayim. And they sat before him, the firstborn according to his birthright, and the youngest according to his youth. And the men marveled at one another. And he took and sent messes unto them from before him. And Benjamin's mess was 5 times so much as any of theirs. And they drank and were merry with him. So, all right, let's go over this. All right. So in this chapter, we learn that the famine was pretty bad in the land of Canaan. And when Jacob and his sons run out of grain that they got from Egypt, Jacob tells his sons to go again and buy some more food. And Judah spoke unto him, and he said, where was I? Oops. And he said, the man did solemnly protest that we will not see his face again unless that we bring our brother Benjamin with us. And if you don't send him, then we are not going to go down. And it says, Israel, or Jacob, said unto them, Why did you do this to me? Why did you tell this man that you had another brother? And they said, The man asked us about our father. Is he well? Do you have another brother? So we told him. How could we have known that he would say, Bring your brother down here? And Judah said, Send the lad with me, and we will arise and go, so that we may live and not die, and also our little ones. And I will be sure of him at my hand you shall require him of me. And if I don't return him unto you, then I will bear the blame forever. So Jacob said that if it must be so, then do this. Then he says, Take the best fruits in your vessels, and carry the man a present. Take him some balm, and some honey, and spices, and myrrh, and nuts, and almonds, and take double the money down to him, to replace the money in your sackcloth. Perhaps it was an oversight. And take your brother, and go down again unto this man. And El Shaddai, Yah Almighty, give you mercy before this man, that he may send away your other brother and Benjamin. If I be bereaved of my children, I am bereaved. So they took the present and double the money and Benjamin, and they ride down to Egypt. And when Joseph saw Benjamin standing with them, he said to the ruler of this house, Bring these men to my house, and slay, and make ready, and these men are going to dine with me at noon. So the brothers did as Joseph bade. They went down with his servant to his house, and they were very afraid that they were brought to Joseph's house, and they thought that Joseph was going to find a cause against them and keep them for bondmen. Basically, like, set them up, if you will. So they tell his steward at the door, we came to buy food the first time, and behold, every man's money was in his sack when we returned home, and we brought double the money this time. And the steward says, Fear not, peace be to you. He says, Your Elohim and the Elohim of your fathers did this. And then Joseph comes, and they give him his present, and Joseph sees Benjamin, and he has to excuse himself for a moment to go in his room and cry. And then he gets it together, and he comes back out, and he joins them, and they all eat, but they sat at different tables. Joseph sat at a table separate from his brothers. His brothers sat at a different table than him, because in Egypt it was an abomination to share a table with Hebrews. They did not do this. So now we are going to parallel this with Jasher 52. Alright, neither one of these are very long. Alright, Jasher 52. And they entered their house, and every man opened his sack, and they saw, and behold, every man's bundle of his money was there, at which they and their father were greatly terrified. And Yaakov said unto them, What is this that you have done unto me? I sent your brother Joseph to inquire after your welfare, and you said unto me, A wild beast did devour him. And Shimon went with you to buy food, and you say the king of Mitzrayim has confined him in prison, and you wish to take Benjamin to cause his death, and also bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to Sheol on account of Benjamin and his brother Joseph. Now therefore my son shall not go down with you, for his brother is dead, and he is left alone, and that mischief may befall him by the way in which you go, as it befell his brother. And Reuben said unto his father, You shall slay my 2 sons, if I do not bring your son and place him before you. And Yaakov said unto his sons, Abide ye here, and do not go down to Mitzrayim, for my son shall not go down with you to Mitzrayim, nor die like his brother. And Yehudah said unto them, Refrain ye from him until the grain is finished. And he will then say, Take down your brother, when he will find his own life and the life of his household in danger from the famine. And in those days the famine was sore throughout the land, and all the people of the earth went and came to Mitzrayim to buy food, for the famine prevailed greatly amongst them. And the sons of Yaakov remained in Canaan 1 year and 2 months until their grain was finished. And it came to pass that after their grain was finished, the whole household of Yaakov was pinched with hunger. And all the infants of the sons of Yaakov came together, and they approached Yaakov, and they all surrounded him, and they said unto him, Give unto us bread, and wherefore shall we all perish through the hunger in your presence? And Yaakov heard the words of his children, and he wept a great weeping, and his pity was roused for them. And Yaakov called unto his sons, and they all came and sat before him. And Yaakov said unto them, And have you not seen how your children have been weeping over me this day, saying, Give unto us bread, and there is none? Now therefore return, and buy for us a little food. And Yehudah answered and said unto his father, If you will send our brother with us, we will go down and buy grain for you. And if you will not send him, then we will not go down. For surely the king of Mitzrayim particularly enjoined us, saying, You shall not see my face unless your brother be with you. For the king of Mitzrayim is strong and mighty king. And behold, if we shall go to him without our brother, we shall be put to death. Do you not know, and have you not heard, that this king is very powerful and wise, and there is not like unto him in all the earth? Behold, we have seen all the kings of the earth, and we have not seen one like that king, the king of Mitzrayim. Surely amongst all the kings of the earth there is none greater than Avimelech, king of the Philistine. Yet the king of Mitzrayim is greater and mightier than he, and Avimelech can only be compared to one of his officers. Father, have you not seen his palace and his throne, and all his servants standing before him? And have you not seen the king upon his throne, in his pomp and royal appearance, dressed in his kingly robes, with a large golden crown upon his head? And have you not seen the honor and glory which Elohim has given unto him? For there is not like unto him in all the earth. Father, you have seen not the wisdom, the understanding, and the knowledge which Elohim has given in his heart, nor heard his sweet voice when he spoke unto us. We know not, Father, who made him acquainted with our names, and all that befell us. Yet he asked us also after you, saying, Is your father still living, and is it well with him? You have not seen the affairs of the government of the Mitzrayim regulated by him, without inquiring of Pharaoh his Adonai. You have not seen the awe and fear which he impressed upon all the Mitzrayim. And also when we went from him, we threatened to do unto Mitzrayim like on the rest of the cities of the Amorim. And we were exceedingly wroth against all his words which he spoke concerning us as spies. And now when we shall again come before him, his terror will fall upon us all. And not one of us will be able to speak to him, either a little or a great thing. Now therefore, Father, send, we pray you, the lad with us, and we will go down to buy you food for our support, and not die through hunger. And Yaakov said, Why have you dealt so ill with me, to tell the king you had a brother? What is this thing that you have done unto me? And Yehudah said unto Yaakov his father, Give the lad into my care, and we will rise up and go down to Mitzrayim and buy grain and then return. And it shall be when we return, if the lad be not with us, then let me bear your blame forever. Have you seen all our infants weeping over you through hunger? And there is no power in your hand to satisfy them. Now let your pity be roused for them, and send our brother with us, and we will go. For how will Yahweh's kindness to our ancestors be manifested to you when you say that the king of Mizraim will take away your son? As Yahweh lives, I will not leave him until I bring him and place him before you. And pray for us unto Yahweh, that he may deal kindly with us, to cause us to be received favorably and kindly before the king of Mizraim and his men. For we had not delayed, For had we not delayed, surely now we would have returned a second time with your son. And Yaakov said unto his sons, I trust in Yahweh Elohim, that he may deliver you and give you favor in the sight of the king of Mizraim, and in the sight of all his men. Now therefore rise up and go to the man, and take for him in your hands a present of what can be obtained in the land, and bring it before him. And may El Shaddai Elohim give you mercy before him, that he may send Benjamin and Shimon your brothers with you. And all the men rose up, and they took their brother Benjamin, and they took in their hands a large present of the best of the land, and they also took double portion of the silver. And Yaakov strictly commanded his sons concerning Benjamin, saying, Take heed of him in the way which you are going, and do not separate yourselves from him in the road, neither in Mitzrayim. And Yaakov rose up from his sons, and spread forth his hands, and prayed unto Yahweh on account of his sons, saying, O Yahweh Elohim of heaven and earth, remember your covenant with our father Abraham. Remember it with my father Yitzchak, and deal kindly with my sons, and deliver them not into the hands of the king of Mitzrayim. Do it, I pray you, O Elohim, for the sake of your mercies, and redeem all my children, and rescue them from Mitzrayim power, and send them their two brothers. And all the women of the sons of Yaakov and their children lifted up their eyes to heaven, and they all wept before Yahweh, and cried unto him to deliver their fathers from the hand of the king of Mitzrayim. And Yaakov wrote a record to the king of Mitzrayim, and gave it into the hand of Yehudah, into the hands of his sons for the king of Mitzrayim, saying, From your servant Yaakov, son of Yitzchak, son of Abraham, the Ivri, the prince of Elohim, to the powerful and wise king, the revealer of secrets, king of Mitzrayim, greeting. Be it known to my Adonai, the king of Mitzrayim, the famine was sore upon us in the land of Canaan. And I sent my sons to you to buy us a little food from you for our support. For my sons surrounded me, and I, being very old, cannot see with my eyes, for my eyes have become very heavy through age, as well with daily weeping for my son, for Joseph, who was lost from before me. And I commanded my sons that they should not enter the gates of the city when they came into Mitzrayim, on account of the inhabitants of the land. And I also commanded them to go about in Mitzrayim to seek for my son Joseph. Perhaps they might find him there. And they did so, and you did consider them as spies of the land. Have we not heard concerning you that you did interpret Pharaoh's dream, and did speak truly unto him? How then do you not know is your wisdom whether my sons are spies or not? Now therefore, my Adonai and King, behold, I have sent my son before you, as you did speak unto my sons. I beseech you to put your eyes upon him until he is returned to me in peace with his brethren. For do you not know, or have you not heard, that which our Elohim did unto Pharaoh when he took my mother Sarah, and what he did unto Avimelech, king of the Pelishtim, on account of her? And what our father Abraham did unto the 9 kings of Elam, and he smote them all with a few men that were with him. And also what my 2 sons, Shimon and Levi, did unto the 8 cities of the Amorim, and how they destroyed them on account of their sister Dinah. And also on account of their brother Benjamin, they also consoled themselves for the loss of his brother Joseph. What will they do then for him when they see the hand of any people prevailing over them for his sake? Do you not know, O king of Mitzrayim, that the power of Elohim is with us, and that also Elohim ever hears our prayers, and forsakes us not all the days? And when my sons told me of your dealings with them, I called not unto Yahweh on account of you. For then you had perished with your men before my son. Bleh. Then you would have perished with your men before my son Benjamin came before you. But I thought that as Shimon my son was in your house, perhaps you might deal kindly with him. Therefore I did not this thing unto you. Now therefore, behold, Benjamin my son comes unto you with my sons. Take heed of him, and put your eyes upon him. And then will Elohim place his eyes over you and throughout your kingdom. Now I have told you all that is in my heart, and behold, my sons are coming to you with their brother. Examine the face of the whole earth for their sake, and send them back in peace with their brethren. And Yaakov gave the record to his sons in the care of Yehudah to give it to the king of Mitzrayim. All right. And lastly, let's read chapter 44 of Genesis. All right. Genesis chapter 44. And he commanded the steward of his house, saying, fill the man's sacks with food, as much money as they can carry. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, 44. And put every man's money in his sack mouth, and put my cup, the silver cup, in the sack's mouth of the youngest, and his grain money. And he did according to the word that Joseph had spoken. As soon as the morning was light, the men were sent away, they and their asses. And when they were gone out of the city, and not yet far off, Joseph said unto his steward, up, follow after the men, and when you do, overtake them, and say unto them, wherefore have you rewarded evil for good? Is not this in which my Adonai drinks, and whereby indeed he divines? Ye have done evil in so doing. And he overtook them, and he spoke unto them the same words. And they said unto him, wherefore says my Adonai these words? Far be it that your servant should do according to this thing. Behold, the money which we found in our sacks' mouths we brought again unto you out of the land of Canaan. How then should we steal out of your Adonai's house silver and gold? With whomsoever your servants be found, both let him die, and we will also be my Adonai's bondmen. And he said, now also let it be according to your words. He with whom it is found shall be my servant, and ye shall be blameless. Then they speedily took down every man his sack to the ground, and opened every man his sack. And he searched, and he began at the eldest, and left at the youngest. And the cup was found in Benjamin's sack. And they rent their clothes, and laded every man his ass, and returned to the city. And Yehudah and his brethren came to Joseph's house, for he was yet there. And they fell before him on the ground. And Joseph said unto them, what deed is that ye have done? Know ye not that such a man as I certainly divine? And Yehudah said, what shall we say unto my Adonai? What shall we speak? Or how shall we clear ourselves? Elohim has found out the iniquity of your servants. Behold, we are my Adonai's servants, both we and he also with whom the cup is found. And he said, far be it that I should do so, but the man in whose hand the cup is found, he shall be my servant. And as for you, get you up in peace unto your father. And then Yehudah came near unto him and said, O my Adonai, let your servant, I pray you, speak a word in my Adonai's ears, and let not your anger burn against your servant, for ye are even as Pharaoh. My Adonai asked his servants, saying, have ye a father or a brother? And we said unto my Adonai, we have a father, an old man, and a child of his old age, a little one, and his brother is dead, and he is left alone, and he is alone and left of his mother, and his father loves him. And you said unto your servants, bring him down unto me, that I may set my eyes upon him. And we said unto my Adonai, the lad cannot leave his father, for if he should leave his father would die. And you said unto your servants, except your youngest brother come down with you, you shall see my face no more. And it came to pass, when we came up unto your servant my father, and we told him the words of my Adonai, and our father said, go again and buy us a little food. And we said, we cannot go down if our youngest brother be with us. Then we will go down, for we may not see the man's face, except our youngest brother be with us. And your servant my father said unto us, ye know that my woman bore me 2 sons, and the one went out for me. And I said, surely he is torn to pieces, and I saw him not since. And if ye take also this one from me, and mischief befall him, ye shall bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to Sheol. Now therefore, when I come to your servant my father, the lad be not with us, and seeing that his life is bound up in the lad's life, it shall come to pass, when he sees that the lad is not with us, that he will die, and your servant shall bring down the gray hairs of your servant our father with sorrow to Sheol. For your servant became surety for the lad unto my father, saying, if I bring him not unto you, then I shall bear the blame to my father forever. Now therefore I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, a bondman to my Adonai, and let the lad go up with his brethren. For how shall I go up to my father, and the lad be not with me, lest perchance I see the evil that shall come unto my father? All right, let's go over this really quick. All right. So now they have finished eating and they are getting ready to leave. And Joseph tells his steward to restore the men's money again and to put his silver cup in Benjamin's bag. And as soon as the morning came, the rest of Jacob's sons, they were ready to head home. And after they left, but they hadn't gotten very far, Joseph tells his steward to go and track them down and say, "Why have you rewarded evil as good? Is this not the cup my Adonai drinks from?" So his servant did as Joseph bade him, and they said, "Why did my Adonai say these words? We haven't done this. We returned home the last time, and our money was restored, and we brought it back this time. Why should we steal from your Adonai's house?" So they said, "Whoever sack that you find it in, he will become your Adonai's bondman." So Joseph's servant searched their sacks, and behold, he found the cup in Benjamin's sack. And his brothers are like freaking out. Judah gets on his knees and he is like begging and pleading to Joseph. He says, "What can we say? What can we do, my Adonai? How can we clear ourselves?" And Joseph said, "You said, whosoever sack it be found in, he becomes my bondman. As for you, go get to your father in peace." And Judah says, "Please, don't be angry. Please let me speak with you." He says, "This child is the child of my father's old age, and his mother died, and his brother is dead, and his father loves him very much. And you told me to bring him that you may see him. Please, the lad cannot leave his father." He said his father would die. "You told us to come here and bring our brother. So when our father sent us again, we did. We did exactly what you said. And our father said to us, 'You know my woman only bore me 2 sons, and one of them was torn to pieces. And if mischief should befall the other one, you will bring my gray hairs down to sorrow in Sheol.' So if we return home without him, and our father sees that he is missing, he will surely die. And I told my father," Judah says this, "and I told my father that if we return not the lad, that I will bear the blame forever. So please, I pray you, let your servant abide instead of the lad, and I will be your bondman, Adonai." He said, "How can I return to my father without him? I cannot watch the evil that will befall my father." All right, let's parallel that really quickly with Jasher 53. Oops, I accidentally lost the page. Okay, Jasher 53. And the sons of Yaakov rose up and took Benjamin and the whole of the presents, and they went and came to Mitzrayim, and they stood before Joseph. And Joseph beheld his brother Benjamin with them, and he saluted them. And these men came to Joseph's house, and Joseph commanded the superintendent of his house to give his brethren to eat, and he did so unto them. And at noontime Joseph sent for the men to come before him with Benjamin, and the men told the superintendent of Joseph's house concerning the silver that was returned in their sacks. And he said unto them, "It will be well with you, fear not." And he brought their brother Shimon unto them. And Shimon said unto his brethren, "The Adonai of Mizraim has acted very kindly unto me. He did not keep me bound, as you saw with your eyes, for when you went out from the city, he let me free, and he dealt kindly with me in his house." And Yehudah took Benjamin by the hand, and they came before Joseph, and they bowed down to him to the ground. And the men gave the present unto Joseph, and they all sat before him. And Joseph said unto them, "It is well with you. Is it well with you? Is it well with your children? Is it well with your aged father?" And they said, "It is well." And Yehudah took the record for Yaakov, and Yehudah took the record which Yaakov had sent, and gave it unto the hand of Joseph. And Joseph read the sefer, and he knew his father's writing, and he wished to weep. And he went into an inner room, and he wept a great weeping, and he went out. And he lifted up his eyes, and beheld his brother Benjamin. And he said, "Is this your brother of whom you spoke unto me?" And Benjamin approached Joseph, and Joseph placed his hand upon his head, and said unto him, "May Elohim be gracious unto you, my son." And when Joseph saw his brother, the son of his mother, he wished again to weep. And he entered the chamber, and he wept there. And he washed his face, and he went out and refrained from weeping. And he said, "Prepare food." And Joseph had a cup from which he drank, and it was of silver, beautifully inlaid with onyx stones and bdellium. And Joseph struck the cup in the sight of his brethren, while they were sitting to eat with him. And Joseph said unto the men, I know by this cup that Reuben the firstborn, Shimon, and Levi, and Yehuda, Issachar, and Zebulun are the children from one mother. Seat yourselves to eat according to your births. And he also placed the others according to their births. And he said, I know that this is your youngest brother, and he has no brother, and I, like him, have no brother. He shall therefore sit down to eat with me. And Benjamin went up before Joseph, and sat upon the throne. And the men beheld the acts of Joseph, and they were astonished at them. And the men ate and drank at that time with Joseph. And he then gave the presents unto them. And Joseph gave gave one gift unto Benjamin, and Manasseh, and Ephraim. And Ephraim saw the acts of their father, and they also gave presents unto him. And Aseneth gave him one present, and there were 5 presents, and then there were 5 presents in the hand of Benjamin. And Joseph brought them out wine to drink, and they would not drink. And they said, From the day on which Joseph was lost, we have not drunk wine, nor eaten any delicacies. And Joseph swore unto them, and he pressed them hard, and they drank plentifully with him on that day. And Joseph afterward turned to his brother Benjamin to speak with him. And Benjamin was still sitting upon the throne before Joseph. And Joseph said unto him, Have you begotten any children? And he said, Your servant has 10 sons, and these are their names, Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ishi, Rosh, Muppim, Chuppim, and Ard. And I called their names after my brother, whom I have not seen. And he ordered them to bring before him his map of the stars, whereby Joseph knew all the times. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, I have heard that the Ephraim are acquainted with all wisdom. Do you know anything of this? And Benjamin said, Your servant is knowing also in all the wisdom which my father taught me. And Joseph said unto Benjamin, Look now at this instrument, and understand where your brother Joseph is in Mitzrayim, who you said went down to Mitzrayim. And Benjamin beheld the instrument with the map of the stars of heaven. And he was wise, and looked therein to know where his brother was. And Benjamin divided the whole land of Mitzrayim into 4 divisions. And he found that he who was sitting upon the throne before him was his brother Joseph. And Benjamin wondered greatly. And when Joseph saw that his brother Benjamin was so much astonished, he said unto Benjamin, What have you seen? And why are you so astonished? And Benjamin said unto Joseph, I can see by this that Joseph my brother sits here with me upon the throne. And Joseph said unto him, I am Joseph your brother. Reveal not this thing unto your brethren. Behold, I will send you with them when they go away, and I will command them to be brought back again into the city, and I will take you away from them. And if they dare their lives to fight for you, then I shall know that they have repented of what they did unto me, and I will make myself known to them. And if they forsake you when I take you, then you shall remain with me, and I shall wrangle with them, and they shall go away, and I will not become known to them. At that time Joseph commanded his officer to fill their sacks with food, and to put each man's money into his sack, and to put the cup in the sack of Benjamin, and to give them provision for the road. And they did so unto them. And on the next day the men rose up early in the morning, and they loaded their asses with grain, and they went forth with Benjamin, and they went to the land of Canaan with their brother Benjamin. They had not gone far from Mitzrayim, when Joseph commanded him that was set over his house, saying, Rise, pursue these men before they get too far from Mitzrayim, and say unto them, Why have you stolen my Adonai's cup? And Joseph's officer rose up, and he reached them, and he spoke unto them all the words of Joseph. And when they heard this thing, they became exceedingly wroth, and they said, He with whom your Adonai's cup shall be found shall die, and we will also become slaves. And they hastened, and each man brought down his sack from his ass. And they looked in their bags, and the cup was found in Benjamin's bag. And they all tore their garments, and they returned to the city. And they smote Benjamin in the road, continually smiting him until he came into the city. And they stood before Joseph. And Yehuda's anger was kindled, and he said, This man has only brought me back to destroy Mitzrayim this day. And the men came to Joseph's house, and they found Joseph sitting upon his throne, and all the mighty men standing at his right and left. And Joseph said unto them, What is this act you have done, that you take away my silver cup and went away? But I know that you took my cup in order to know thereby in what part of the land your brother was. And Yehuda said, What shall we say to our Adonai? What shall we speak, and how shall we justify ourselves? Elohim has this day found the iniquity of all your servants, therefore he has done this thing to us this day. And Joseph rose up and caught hold of Benjamin, and took him from his brethren with violence, and he came to the house and locked the door at them. And Joseph commanded him that was set over his house, that he should say unto them, Thus says the king, Go in peace to your father. Behold, I have taken the man in whose hand my cup was found. So, as you can see, it was planned for Benjamin to be caught with this cup. He pulled Benjamin off to the side, and Benjamin was sitting up on the throne with him, and Benjamin discovers that the man who he's sitting next to is actually his brother Joseph. And Joseph was like, don't tell our other brothers about this. Don't say a word. I am going to do something, and they're going to have to come back here, and I am going to take you from them. And if they plan on fighting for you, then I will know that they have repented of the evil of which they had did to me by selling me into Mitzrayim, into Egypt. And he said, and if they don't try to fight for you, then I will know that they have not repented of this evil, and I will keep you here with me, and I will send them back home. So that is pretty interesting to see there. Give me just a moment. So, all right, y'all. Yeah, that concludes this week's Torah portion. I hope that adding in these chapters from the book of Jasher is insightful for you all. This book is going to be used a lot with our Torah portions, especially as we near the end of Genesis and we move into the book of Exodus. But let's go ahead and close this up with a prayer, you guys. Yahweh, thank you for allowing me to teach your Torah, to speak your testimony and your truth. And we thank you for giving us your word to study, Yahweh, your perfect instructions for life. Your ways are so good, and I pray that the children return to them. Remove this ruach of deep sleep, Yah. Wake them up, open their eyes and ears, and let them receive the truth. Let their hearts receive the truth. Reveal your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, to them, the shepherd who will lead them back to the covenant. Hallelujah. And in Yahushua's name we pray. Amen. All right, brothers and sisters, I will see you guys again next week. Enjoy the rest of your Shabbat, and shalom.